Hi everybody, this is Lorraine from ChatnCraft with Lorraine Tierney, and I'm coming on live today to show you some fall cards and do some stamping together. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had some trouble with my lighting and getting things going, but here I am. Okay, so these are some fall cards that I have been making. These are simple stamping, or SIP, because it's just stamp, ink, and paper. So I used the Simply Fabulous stamp set to make these. This is that stamp set. And it was paired in the catalog with the bright Butterfly Kisses paper in bright colors. So you might not think of it as a fall stamp set, but anything can be a fall stamp set if you just use what we consider fall colors. So this I used Pear Pizzazz, Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry, and Mary Merlot. And I just mounted the papers on a regular card base. So we're going to make one of these together, and then we're going to do another simple stamping technique. So I started with a piece of white that is 2 7/8 by 1.5. And that's what I'm going to put my Just Saying Hello stamp on. If I can get it out of here. And I'm going to change up the colors a little bit this time and use Mossy Meadow for my green. I'm still going to use the Pumpkin Pie, but I'm going to switch out the Cajun Craze. And if I want a yellow, I'll still use the Crushed Curry. So we'll see how that looks. So I'm going to ink this up with my Mossy Meadow and get that right in the center. There we go, just saying hello, and that's got a little bit of a distressed look to it, and I'm okay with that. This stamp tends to do that a little bit. If I wanted to get rid of that, I could use my Stamparatus and stamp it more than once, and that would be just fine. Hi Jackie, hi Joanne, hi Deb, hi Maria. So I'm going to put a little something. You'll see on each of these I had a little stamp. So I'm going to do that on my Just Hello. And I will use the Crushed Curry with that just because I know I liked that on the other one. And I have to give a shout out to my daughter. She kept saying, use the stamp with the 3 leaves. Use the stamp with the 3 leaves. So there you go. Okay, and then I'll show you how I did my stamping that shows underneath. So I chose some of the bigger leaves to use, and I'm going to ink up in Mossy Meadow again. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball where this is going to go. If I center that, this is going to be below center. So I'm going to start with 1, and then I like having another one of these next to it. I'm going to try to hold the block and the ink, the spot, so that I don't shake the table quite so much. And I'm going to do one more coming out the bottom at a different angle. So I am going to hold this back in place a little bit. I need to turn my block the way I want my stamp to go. And I'm going to do that. Okay, then one last thing before I close that green ink. I did add one of this leaf, just for a little bit different green. I'm going to add a little more ink to that. There we go. and come over this way. Okay. And now I'm going to do some colors with some of the other stamps. So with the Cajun Craze, I'm going to do, oh, it's missing. Oh, here it is. Stuck to the other side. I had a little wee panic attack. I'm going to do this. I don't know what that is. If it's a tulip, somebody who knows flowers, please tell me in the comments. Okay, so I want to make sure this shows. I want one over here. I don't mind if it's a little bit underneath things, but I do want to see the flower. So I think I'm going to definitely need some yellow in here because these colors are darker, but I'm going to do a little orange also with a retro looking kind of flower, at least that's what I call it. This big Flower Power stamp. And I want one right there. And I'm pretty much doing each of these in the same spot. Oh, I'm sorry, the dogs are going to start barking. I could either yell at them on the live or we can just ignore them. So I think I'll go with ignoring them. And I'm going to put one over here. And then we'll do a little bit of the crushed curry. That's what I get for having the windows open today. I'm sorry. Maria says it's tulips. Hi, Kathy. Long time no see. It is a tulip. Okay. I thought it might be a tulip. Not sure if there's such a thing as Cajun Craze tulips, but in my world, there is. So we'll just go with that. And now I have this other little flower that I just like to kind of tuck in with these leaves. And it just gives it a little more color. So let's see how that is. So that's how I'm going to do that. And then I'll just put that on a card base. I just realized I forgot to cut the card bases to show you, but I could put it on a crushed curry card base like that, or I could do the Cajun Craze or the Mossy Meadow. So I did a lot of those each individually like that. I could have done like all my green stamping on 4 card fronts, then all my Cajun Craze, then all my pumpkin pie, but I didn't mind going through it all one color. I mean, one card at a time. It was kind of fun. And it didn't take me long at all. I made 6 of those last night pretty quickly. Okay, I'm going to put these stamps away. And then as I was doing this, it reminded me of one of my favorite ways to make a bunch of cards. I'm just trying to get these stamps in so I don't lose any. And that is to stamp not quite a whole sheet of DSP, but some people call it split 4 stamping. I'm going to split down or stamp down this way and then stamp across this way. And when I cut it, I'll have 4 pieces to go on cards. And so for this, I'm going to use the Eden's Garden stamp set. I'm sorry, I'm going to let the dogs out. Pardon me. I'll be right back. Quiet. Be quiet. I'm coming. All right, I'm sorry. I could not take that. Joanne, what number reason is that to not have dogs? Maria, you just did that split stamping? That's awesome. So for this one, like I said, I'm going to use the Eden's Garden, and that's because I wanted a bigger stamp. There isn't really a big stamp over here in the Simply Fabulous, and that would take a lot of stamping to fill in. So I decided to do this one. Okay, and I'm going to start with green, and actually I think the Mossy Meadow was darker than what I want. I think I'm going to go with the Pear Pizzazz. So if you make enough cards, you can keep just switching back to what you like. And I'm going to do some of these right down what would be just about the middle. I don't want to cut this stamp set, or this stamp, totally in half. So I'm going to alternate a little bit to each side of center. I think it would look funny if I just had exactly half a stamp. And I can always go back and fill in anything else that I want to. I mean, we're going to add some other things. I'm not leaving a whole lot of room to add things, so we're going to have a lot on here because I like to stamp. Okay, so that's the big flower. And now I'm going to pick, this one has both leaves and a flower. And I'm going to do it in the, I think I'll do it in the Cajun Craze. We'll see. I'll stamp one on my scrap paper and see if I like it. Yes. So this one, and I'm just going to fit these in, and I'm not going to worry too much if they overlap a little bit, because we are going to have a lot of stamping on this. I'm even going to put one right in the middle and right there. I'm going to want each piece, when I cut it in quarters, to have some of these on it. So I'm trying to pay a little bit of attention to where they go so that each piece has some. Okay, and I can always add more of those. Now I'm going to do something that I think looks a little bit wheatish, and I could use like a crumb cake, but I'm going to use my crushed curry. I like that color. To me, crushed curry is a very fall color. I think I need to replace my stamp pad. Sometimes the lighter colors, the stamp pad stops holding ink or taking the ink really well after several years. So I'm getting like a different tone, different colors in this, which is okay with me most of the time, but sometimes I want a solid color. You can see it's coming out sort of light, sort of dark. So here's my, what do you think? You guys have any? Joanne, reason 1,450? Thank you. I was looking at that number and thinking, oh, what number is that? That's the reason not to have a dog. So what color do you think I should use for another leaf? I'm thinking that I want to do, wow, this Okay, this was stuck. There we go. Let me clean this one off so I can use this block. I'm going to do this leaf. I'll show you what it looks like on the front. It's this one. And maybe I'm going to switch that to this one that's a little bit tighter. Not quite so spread out. Should I do that in pumpkin pie? Should I do that in a darker green, the mossy meadow? What do you think I should do that in? Let's see. Here it is in the pumpkin pie. And let me show it to you in the mossy meadow. And then in the mossy meadow. I think I'm going to try some no green, Deb says. I'm going to try a green, Deb. I'm going to go against your advice, even though I asked you for your advice. And Jackie says pumpkin pie, too. Well, I'm going to try one. I'm just going to sneak one in right there. I'm going to do a couple of these. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to do some pumpkin pie too, because I do think it needs another color. And again, I'm not worrying about placement too much. I don't want it to stick out totally, by itself. I am trying to work it in a little bit. I need one over here in this quadrant. And then, okay, clean that off. Whoops, sorry, pulled the whole thing. And I'm going to try some pumpkin pie. Here it is. Yeah, that's crushed curry, so I have not used pumpkin pie yet. So some pumpkin pie. Oh, I think I like that. I think that's a nice, bright addition. Whatever's out there, the dogs are not giving up on it yet. These are not really my dogs. I am at my daughter's house, and they are my grand dogs. All right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a couple more green. What do I want? I want a little, oh, I know. So hold on. Let me find, hopefully I can find this stamp set quickly. This perched in a tree that goes with the aspen dies has this, I don't know what, grunge stamp, for lack of a better name. Just these dots. And there are some dots in here already, but I think some more dots will be a nice touch. And I think I want to do those dots in the Pear Pizzazz again, if I can find that ink pad. Here it is, to just blend these brighter colors. The other stamp set was the Eden's Garden, Maria. I haven't used it in a long time, but it's a very pretty stamp set. So this can go right over things because it's kind of a filler set. I don't know when I became such a double tapper, but I want you guys to notice. Are you double tappers? Do you tap tap? I'm going to put a little bit right in there as well. All right, and you can get carried away sometimes, and I'm afraid I could, with a little bit too much, go from liking it to not liking it, and then I'm in trouble. So I did use the thicker Whisper White on this, and it's 11 inches wide, so I'm going to cut it in half at 5.5 this way. And then these are 8.5, so I'll cut it at 4.25. But that's not going to cut exactly where I want it. I want the finished size to be 4, so I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I was skimping and not getting enough over here. Since I want the finished size to be 4, I can take a little bit off of that side. And this I want 5.25. 5.25 by 4. I'm running out of room. And now I don't want to cut off this side that has all my stamping. If this one's too big, I'm going to cut it off of the side that has less stamping. And then this should be 4. Yep. And then similar thing here. I think I'm over a little bit, so I'm going to go 4 right here and maximize my stamping. 4 here. And then I don't know if I've already trimmed this to 5.25. No, I have not. And trim this one to 5.25. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do with these from there. So I've just made 4 card fronts pretty quickly. They can go this way, they could go this way, it could go that way, could go that way. I think I'm going to do that one that way. I kind of like them coming down, although I like that one. So you can do them all different ways. I have a couple of card bases over here. Here is a Pear Pizzazz card base. It's just 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4.25. I would put that on here, and I'm just going to stamp my greeting right on that in maybe in the Cajun Craze, maybe in the green. I don't know, what color should I stamp my greeting in? It's going to be a small, I'm going to do hello there. What color do you think would be good? Let me clean these off and put these away. The beautiful paper that came out when these stamps came out, that Ever at Eden's Garden paper, is on the clearance rack right now. For, I don't know, the pack is maybe $6 or something like that. It's beautiful paper with lots of greens and gold accents. If you haven't used it or had any of it, you'll want to get it on the clearance price. All right, so does anyone have a vote on the color? You guys like it, but you're leaving the color up to me. Well, we have 4 of them, so we can try some different colors. So let's see. I just like to get these stamps out of the way so that I don't drop them on my paper and ruin anything. All right, let's see. So it's going to say hello there. Just see if I have this on straight. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go for a green one right here. Hello there. And I just pressed that into the ink pad a little bit too hard. Okay. That looks good. I think I'm gonna do another one in green. Hello there. And let's try a different color. I'm gonna try the Cajun Craze because that's the color I don't have too much of. Let's see what I think of that. It's only one card, right? Somebody that receives it will still like it, even if I don't think the color is perfect. I think the stamp set is too long to go the other way. Okay. Oh, I like it in the Cajun Craze. I got a vote for crushed curry, so I'll have to try one in the crushed curry. You got that vote in just in time. All right, and this stamp is a little squishy, so I'm getting extra ink. Okay. Let's see. So there's the crushed curry. Hello there. I like that one too. And I have a crushed curry card base here. So let's just put 2 of these on card bases. Since that has the crushed curry sentiment, we'll use that one. Okay. And I just love how quick and easy it is to make 4 cards like that. There's it with the Cajun Craze. And here it is with the Pear Pizzazz. I think I'm going to put that one on. And I love that. Love that look. So I hope that this is a stamping technique you will give a try to. It's fun to get out a bunch of inks and play with some stamp sets. And if you don't want to do the whole sheet, if you're not sure about your color combinations or that you'll like the stamps, cut your paper 5 1/4 by 4 to start with, and then just do one at a time until you find a combination you like, and then you can do a whole bunch of them. But I think you'll find it addicting. You can do it for birthdays. You can do it in different colors with different stamps for masculine cards, for kid cards. It's really a lot of fun. So thank you for joining me today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Warner, New Hampshire. You can shop for any of these products on my website at ChatnCraftWithLorraine.com, and I'd love to send you a catalog. I'd love to help you make cards. I do this because card making brings me joy, and sending cards brings me joy, and I know it brings joy to those who receive it, and I would like to help other people spread joy. So please let me know if I can help you, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to share this video, that would be great. Then more people can see a technique they can do at home. And otherwise, I will catch you next time. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.